Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the first video. Yesterday Blizzard released patch 8.0 to the WoW PTR. Now patch 8.0 means that all the class changes that are going to be present in Battle for Azeroth are now in the public test realm, open for anyone to test, presuming you have a PTR character. Now, numbers can still change. The spells are not confirmed to do the exact damage they do. So anything you see here on the damage meters is not an actual representation of what can happen once the actual game releases. Remember, in BFA we have had a stat squish, so if you do look at my character, I'm item level 250. So damage has been, and item level has been greatly reduced from what we're used to in Legion, but I guess that is a necessary change. So, with Shadow Priests, some things are different, some things are the same. A lot of things that we have previously seen in the artifact now make their way onto the talent tree. Shadow Word Death used to be a spell. Shadow Crash used to be a bottom tier talent, are now making their way into different spots of the talent tree. So we've got a first talent, Fortress of the Mind, we've got Shadowy Insight, and we've got Shadow Word Void. Fortress of the Mind remains relatively the same by the looks of things. I don't have a direct comparison up in my notes anywhere, so I can't 100%, but it looks the same. Shadowy Insight remains pretty much the same as well. And Shadow Word Void is a new talent. It replaces Mind Blast. It generates 15 insanity, provides 2 charges, whereas Mind Blast only generates 14 is what it's saying here, but I'm sure it's only 12. Anyway, you get an extra 3 or 1 insanity by choosing Mind Blast. So that generates 15, let me turn it off, and 12, there you go, it's fixed. So you get 12 from Mind Blast. If you take Shadow Word Void, you get the 15. And they both work pretty much exactly the same. Second tier, we've got Body and Soul, we've got Shanlane, and we've got Mania. This talent tier is pretty much personal preference. A lot of people enjoy Mania. I mean, we're not healers, so Shanlane's probably a no-go. I'm going to go with Body and Soul because I'm very much used to Power Word Shield giving me a nice little speed increase. I am a raider, so it helps me get to objectives and where I need to be quicker, and a nice little shield is obviously pleasant. The next talent tier, we've got Twist of Fate, we've got Misery, which seems to just do exactly the same thing it does just now in Legion, and we've got Dark Void, which unleashes an explosion of energy around the target, dealing some shadow damage and applying Shadow Word Pain to all nearby enemies. Probably this is going to be the go-to talent choice here. It'll be a swap between Misery if you've got a large number of adds. Dark Void is probably going to be the default talent choice. The next talent tier, we've got Last Word, reduces the cooldown of silence. We've got Mind Bomb, which now fears rather than stuns, and we've got Psychic Horror, which terrifies. It gives you a 4-second stun. The next tier we've got is Spacious Spirits. We've got Shadow Word Death, a previous spell that we had in Legion, and we've got Shadow Crash, which is a talent that was in tier 100 before. Shadow Word Death is probably, it generates 30 insanity, and Spacious Spirits generate 2 insanity. Personally, I don't like Shadow Crash that much myself. I'm going to choose the Spacious Spirits at the moment for the passive insanity generation when I'm in Void form. Second last talent tier, we've got Linger and Insanity, we've got Mindbender, and we've got Void Torrent. Void Torrent, a critical part of the rotation from Legion, as part of our artifact, has now been moved onto the talent tree. Probably going to go with Mindbender just to stay how I'm used to with Legion, and it's given us the additional insanity generation. One thing I'll say when the difference between BFA and Legion is we are now in and out of void form much quicker. It's more of a build your void form as normal, into void form for a short period of time, out of void form, build in, out, rather than what we have in Legion at the moment is you build, you go into void form, you remain in it for a large period of time, up to 1 minute, you're out, you rebuild and you're in again for a minute. That is no longer the case. We're going to be in and out of void form maybe every 25 at the best to 30 seconds, probably later on in the game. So maybe about every 20 seconds we're going to be dropping out of void form to rebuild back in 20 to 25 seconds, in, out. Sorry. The final talent tier, we've got Legacy of the Void, Dark Ascension, which is a new talent for ourselves. And we've got the Old Faithful, Surrender to Madness, which for me I do not think is going to be viable. One thing that has changed with Surrender to Madness is you no longer die when it runs out. You just take 90% damage to yourself and are unable to generate insanity for 30 seconds. But at this point I'm going to go with Legacy of the Void to stick with what I'm used to. And we can see where it goes from there. There are much better people at understanding Shadow Priest than me. Theory crafters are going to produce all sorts. This is just my opinion. So going with rotation, we are probably going to use our usual dots. We're going to have Vampiric Touch and we're going to have Shadow Word Pain on the target. They have got reduced in the time that they can stay on them, so we will need to be reapplying dots quite regularly. That'll now be part of the intrigue, the part of the Shadow Priest rotation. We'll be reapplying the dots. Gone are the days of you apply the dots once and you just renew over and over. You will need to be reapplying your dots now. So we're going to apply our Vampiric Touch, we're going to apply Shadow Word Pain, we're going to be casting Mind Flay to generate some insanity, and every now and again when it's off the cooldown we're going to be casting Shadow Word Void to get us into void form. Once we're in void form we're going to be casting Shadow Bolt. I'm going to cast a Dark Void. I'm going to probably go with Shadow Bolt, I'm going to go Shadow Word Void, I'm going to go Mind Flay, I'm going to go Shadow Bolt, and then I'm probably going to cast Dark Void, and then I'm going to go back to Shadow Word Void, and then I'm going to go Shadow Bolt, Mind Flay, and kind of back into the usual things. We've got Mindbender. Now, because of the stat squish, I do not have a huge amount of haste, and we're going to be in and out. The insanity degradation is much higher, so I'm going to be falling out of void form much quicker. So gone is the time that I can hang around in void form for 30 seconds before popping Mindbender, which allows me to stay into void form up to 50 seconds to 55 seconds. I'm going to be popping Mindbender at 18 to 20 void form stacks to try and get me up to 25 stacks. Hello, let's go over the rotation then. So we're going to be going Vampiric Touch, Shadow Word Pain. We're going to be using Shadow Word Void to build some insanity, and we're going to be using Mind Flay as a filler. We're going to use Void Eruption to get into void form. Then we're going to be casting Void Bolt. We're still going to be casting Shadow Word Void. We're going to cast Dark Void, and then we're going to be using Mind Flay as a filler again. I'm going to be popping Mindbender, about 15 stacks of void form. Maybe if we shoot to 16, actually that's me at 15. So Mindbender, allow me to keep in void form. seconds. Now go back in again. I won't have my mind render this time to keep me in as long. Need to apply Vampiric Touch and Shadow of Pain. Follow the Void Form again. Rebuilding that insanity. And we're back in again. Render at 15. That boy gave us a nice boost. Dots. People are quite worried about the changes at Shadow today, but getting there, it's not as bad as you think it's going to be. It is slower. We're not so reliant on prolonging our void form. But still a lot of fun to play Shadow Beast. I would just like to thank you all for watching. If you do enjoy these videos, please subscribe, like, comment if you have any questions. Very happy to answer. Hopefully I'll be making a few more videos.